Capricorn. Before the world asked you to prove yourself, your soul was already enough. In the quiet between dusk and night, something ancient stirs, a sacred remembering. This isn't a reset, it's a return to wonder, to stillness, to the wild worth that needs no permission. And if you're feeling the call, stay with me, because what's about to unfold isn't just guidance. It's a mirror held gently to the part of you that's been waiting to be seen. Now, let's step into the energy guiding your week. Capricorn, in the liminal space between dusk and night, where the first stars emerge and the day's momentum softens, find yourself. As the world around you exhales, allow this narrative to become your internal exhale, soft, unguarded, and filled with the raw materials of your own becoming. Your journey isn't confined to checking off tasks or tallying responsibilities. Instead, it unfolds like an alchemical process, each moment revealing a deeper layer of your own hidden gold. From the hidden archives of your psyche, retrieve the earliest echoes of joy before ambition found its voice. Recall the exhilaration of first discovery, how you pressed your fingertips to the bark of a tree, felt the quiver of wind across your skin, or experienced that surge of pride when a work project you nurtured early on finally flourished under your guidance, or paused mid-step to watch a moth's delicate wanderings. In those micro-moments, the universe communicated through sensation alone, unmediated by the need to quantify or prove. This primal resonance is the cornerstone of authentic self-worth. Psychologists describe this as the intrinsic motivation loop, behavior not driven by reward or recognition, but by the sheer pleasure of engagement. Imagine a musician who spends hours improvising at midnight, no audience in sight, simply for the joy of sound. Capricorn, you were once that musician of life, drawn to discovery for its own sake. Over time, extrinsic rewards, accolades, praise, status, drowned your internal flame. Now, let's relight it. Begin by noticing the activities that spark curiosity rather than checking a box. Watch your eyes light up when you dive into a new idea. Feel your shoulders unwind when you lose track of time. Sense your breath deepen as you surrender to fascination. Cultivate these moments. They are the embers of your truest passion. Your ruling planet, Saturn, serves as both teacher and taskmaster in astrology. Think of your birth chart as a personal map, and Saturn as the guide that highlights lessons about responsibility, boundaries, and self-worth. When Saturn makes significant passes, often around ages 29 and 58, known as Saturn returns, you may feel extra pressure to accomplish and prove your value. Instead of seeing these moments as setbacks, view them as invitations to notice long-held family beliefs about work and worth. By observing these cycles, you can gently release old demands and claim a truer sense of your own value. Enter into dialogue with this conditioning through evocative journal prompts. Spend 10 minutes responding thoughtfully to each question. What shall I liberate from the lineage of relentless striving? Which inherited belief no longer serves my flourishing? As you write, invoke compassion toward the parts of yourself and your ancestors who survived through sheer tenacity. Acknowledge the gifts of resilience they bestowed, then grant yourself the radical permission to rest beyond necessity. Neuroscience research, including studies by Dr. Richard Davidson at the University of Wisconsin, reveals that the brain's default mode network becomes hyperactive when self-judgment runs rampant, fueling anxiety and eroding the capacity for presence. Practices that shift neural activity toward the prefrontal cortex, like mindfulness, breathwork, and creative flow, rebuild functional networks of self-regulation. The goat's gaze meditation and labyrinth walking you practiced earlier are catalysts for this shift. Complement them with creative improvisation. Play an instrument without knowing a song, color outside lines, speak aloud whatever poem arises in your mind. In these spontaneous acts, neural pathways bloom anew, anchored in ease rather than effort. Dive deeper into shadow work by inviting the hidden Capricorn archetype, the sacred hermit. Just as Saint Anthony the Great retreated into the Egyptian desert, seeking silence in a cave to hear the still small voice beneath the desert wind, so too can you withdraw from the clamor of modern life. This aspect of you steps away from crowds and screens to seek inner counsel. To reignite the hermit, designate an hour each week for silent reflection. No agendas, no digital footprints, much like the yogi meditating in solitude. As Anthony faced temptations in the cave and discovered the clarity of inner truth, Let the absence of external stimuli amplify the faintest stirrings of your intuition. Record your insights in a dedicated hermit's journal, honoring them as messages from your soul's core. Mythic parallels abound. The tale of Persephone descending into the underworld to harvest transformative wisdom, the story of Elijah taking refuge in the cave where a gentle whisper, not the earthquake or fire, revealed the divine. In both narratives, the descent is essential. Your descent into rest, into vulnerability, into the unproductive spaces mirrors these archetypal journeys of renewal. Embrace each pause as a sacred underworld, where the veil thins and your deeper truths surface. Conscious breath remains your anchor. Explore integrative modalities such as Soma breath, which combines circular breathing with intentional sound and movement to recalibrate body and mind. Or consider coherent breathing. Inhale for 5 counts, exhale for 5 counts, to entrain your heart rate variability and restore vagal tone. These practices are not luxuries but functional resets, as critical to your system as sleep and nourishment. In the realm of psychoenergetics, the concept of affect projective identification suggests we unconsciously project unresolved feelings onto external tasks or relationships. For example, you might pour yourself into a work project far beyond reason because a buried sense of shame tells you that only flawless performance will make you lovable. In reality, that shame lives inside and cannot be fixed by perfection. Capricorn, you may find yourself overworking as a way to deflect deep-seated emotions: grief, shame, longing. Notice when you overprepare, overplan, or overcommit. Pause and ask, what emotion am I steering away from? With gentle inquiry, you can retrieve these feelings and welcome them home. Use movement-based therapy, yoga or qigong, to embody this retrieval, allowing stored tension to release through sinew and breath. Subtler still, integrate the wisdom of quantum alchemy, intention setting at the field level. Before sleep, hold an object, a stone, a piece of fabric, a talisman, and infuse it with your intention. I embody worth beyond work. In the morning, place it on your altar or desk as a field generator, a physical node anchoring your revised narrative. Community plays a crucial role in sustaining these shifts. Seek out Capricorn soulmates, kindred spirits who share your earthy clarity but also understand the necessity of play. Establish a monthly worth circle where you and a small group convene to nurture self-worth together. A typical gathering might unfold with gentle structure and intention. The group begins with a check-in, where each person briefly shares how they've experienced self-worth over the past month. This creates a warm field of presence and honesty. From there, the space flows into a period of creative expression. Members offer a poem, a drawing, a journal excerpt, or a small ritual that illustrates something meaningful about their inner value. As each offering is received, the group moves into what's known as a reflective echo, where one by one, each person speaks a word or phrase that captures what they witnessed in another's expression, layering communal validation like gentle ripples on still water. Finally, the gathering closes with a shared reflection, where participants discuss insights, challenges, or intentions they carry into the coming month. This rhythm transforms isolation into shared resilience and weaves a subtle, enduring safety net for vulnerability. As months pass, measure your progress not by productivity metrics, but by the depth of your felt presence. How many mornings did you greet without an urgent checklist? How many evenings did you close your eyes without rehearsal of tomorrow's tasks? Which moments elicited genuine laughter, unbidden by obligation? These metrics, though intangible, mark your alchemical transformation. Finally, craft your own Capricorn credo, a living mantra that integrates scholarly insight, mythic resonance, and personal revelation. Write it in flowing script and display it where your gaze naturally falls. Above your desk, on your bathroom mirror, perched on a windowsill. Revisit its words daily until they become the bedrock of your belief system. Capricorn, this is your deep metamorphosis. To reclaim worth not as a trophy, but as a birthright. To honor rest not as a concession, but as a covenant with your soul. To celebrate achievement not as currency, but as the blossoming of an already fertile spirit. In this reimagined self, you stand at once as the resolute mountain goat and the luminous alchemist, uniting discipline with surrender, ambition with awe, action with acceptance. Breathe deeply now. Feel the pulse of your own unfolding. You are the summit you sought all along, the golden thread of story woven through time and lineage. You are enough. You are exquisitely, unconditionally enough. Yet this realization need not be the end. It is the prologue to deeper understanding. Let us now embark on the origins of worth itself, tracing its roots through myth, science, and the landscape of your psyche. In the fertile cradle of ancient myth, worth was not measured by conquest, but by being. The Sumerians spoke of the goddess Inanna, whose descent and return from the underworld symbolized the cyclical nature of life and self-discovery. When Inanna surrendered her adornments at each gate of the underworld, she shed external markers of status, arriving naked and vulnerable before her deepest truth. Similarly, your journey asks you to release armor, the medals of achievement, the laurels of praise, the collars of recognition. Only in that nakedness can you taste the sweetness of unearned worth. Developmental psychology reinforces this truth. Studies in early attachment reveal that infants thrive when their caregivers mirror unconditional presence, cuddles without demands, coos without consequence. That foundational mirror informs our baseline self-esteem. We are worthy because we are seen, held, and known. Capricorn, acknowledge the echoes of childhood. Who mirrored your worth without clause? Whose gaze reflected you as inherently lovable? Invoke that memory now as a healing balm. Write it down. My first mirror of worth was Lachiluk, who showed me Omdiuk without expectation. Place that memory at the center of your hermit's journal. Neuroscientifically, the vagus nerve mediates the relationship between breath, heart, and emotional regulation. By engaging practices that tone vagal function, such as slow exhalations, humming, and gentle neck stretches, you create a biophysical environment where self-compassion arises naturally. Imagine a tuning fork held next to an instrument. The resonance ripples through. Your nervous system, when tuned to self-acceptance frequencies, dissolves the walls of chronic self-judgment. Archetypally, the inner sage and inner child remain separated by a fortress of Capricornian responsibility. To reunify them, orchestrate an archetypal convergence ritual. At dusk, light 2 candles, one for sage, one for child. Speak sage's counsel aloud. You are wise, you are patient. Then speak child's longing. I am playful, I am free. Notice the emotional harmonics that arise when these voices speak in duet. Over weeks, this convergence melds polarities, forging an integrated self that values rest as profoundly as productivity. The magic of community deepens this process. In your monthly worth circle, introduce the practice of reflective echo. Each member shares a moment of intrinsic worth, a simple breath, an unnoticed kindness, a private smile. The circle then echoes the sentiment back, layering validation like concentric ripples on water. Over time, these reverberations reinforce the neural networks of self-value, communal bonds, and collective care. As you integrate these layers, mythic, developmental, neuroscientific, archetypal, communal, the architecture of worth transforms from scaffolding into cathedral. Your life's work continues, but now it arises from the sanctum of your own soul. Achievement glimmers as blossom on roots nourished not by external praise, but by the deep waters of self-love. And so, dear Capricorn, continue breathing, continue tasting rest, continue honoring your essence. This ever-unfolding reflection is both map and territory. May each new insight guide you home, deeper and wider into the boundless terrain of your own unconditional worth. Mantra: I am worthy beyond measure, at rest and in renewal. Return to this truth whenever doubt arises. Now, write this mantra somewhere visible. Whisper it each morning. Let it guide the way you rise, the way you rest, the way you return to yourself.